Welcome back to the Talk Tonight. Syracuse University head football coach Doug Marrone is no longer the Syracuse University head football coach. He's with the Buffalo Bills now. Isn't that amazing how quickly it all takes place? Today's news conference, Coach Marrone said he was going to get right to work, and that seems very likely considering his work ethic while he was here, helping a team that's missed the playoffs for 13 straight seasons. Coach Marrone helped the SU football program turn around over the last 4 years and said being SU's head coach was his dream job. For him, getting the Orange back on track was a dream come true. Nico Marrone joins us for the Talk Tonight. Michael Benny will stop by in a few minutes to talk about some other issues, but this is it was quickly developing, although we've had about a week to 10 days, I guess, since the first inkling that Doug Marrone might be heading to, and I think each day our community became more and more inclined to believe it might happen.
Exactly. You know, when I first saw the reports, I was kind of like, is that really going to happen? No, you know, maybe in a couple years, but then the more and more the interviews piled up, the more and more it became apparent that Marrone was on his way to the NFL. And certainly, you know, it's a league he coached in for a number of years. A lot of teams were after him. It seems like a very likely fit.
And this was all over Sports Talk Radio today. Here in Syracuse, out in Buffalo. What are a few people saying? You
know, it's funny, the fans here in Syracuse, you have a mix. You have a lot of fans thankful for what he did, which it was certainly monumental. It was miraculous, almost, what he did here. You know, getting a team that was one of the worst in BCS football to get them into 2 bowl games in 3 years. So Syracuse fans are grateful, but they're also, some of them are mad. You know, he said this was his dream job. They thought this meant he was the next Jim Boeheim in terms of longevity, you know, things like that. Buffalo fans, on the other hand, they're a little skeptical right now. They're like, well, he was 25 and 25 in 4 years at Syracuse. What makes you think he's going to be successful in Buffalo? But they're kind of warming up to that idea as the days go on.
I think Buffalo is getting an excellent coach.
I agree,
and it appears the NFL also is in agreement.
And one of the nicest guys. Don't you remember, we did a story a while back, he was like rated one of the nicest guys.
The nicest coach in college football,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Let's listen a little bit of what he had to say today.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be the head football coach. I can't tell you how excited I am for my family and I to move up here. We're looking forward to it. I'm excited about working with the people in this organization, but I'm especially excited about working with the players.
You know, and speaking of players, late in the news conference, he addressed the fact that he plans to be back in Syracuse this coming weekend to talk to his players here. And if there's anybody that I do feel badly for, the fans always can, you know, move on, get by, you know, but the players that were recruited by him that have had success and now they're worried what's going to happen, who's going to be our coach. We've been down this road before as a community. That's tough, and some of those guys on Twitter especially were a little bit angry. It's understandable, I would say.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that, you know, if you look on Twitter, certain players were like, well, we didn't even get a text from Doug Marrone. They were a little upset by that, but the trend now on Twitter, they've kind of accepted it. They really want an on-staff hire for Darryl Gross to make next. Whether or not he does that remains to be seen. If you were to make me guess right now, I'd say Scott Schaefer will inherit the job. He's the current defensive coordinator. And actually some players were tweeting about that today, saying they want that to happen. So, you know, you feel bad for the players. You know, college football is a business, as Doug Marrone said. They have to be prepared for this, and, you know, it's unfortunate, but they're going to have to move on like the fans are, and, you know, you almost hope that it is an in-staff hire, so the current players have some sort of familiarity with the new head coach.
Do we have any kind of a time frame for when they might
It's going to be quick, because National Signing Day for the high school recruits is in less than a month. And you can bet all the other Big East programs, ACC programs, are looking to poach Syracuse's recruits. Darryl Gross has to move fast. He has to get stability for this program for SU to keep the recruits, which, by the way, this is one of the best recruiting classes in years, including a highly touted quarterback out of Texas.
I think more important than keep taking somebody from the current staff is getting the right guy, though.
That's true.
And there's a coaching conference going on right now in Nashville, I think it is.
Right. So
good chance Darryl Gross is hanging out there right now.
He is out of town today, by the way. Just saying.
Renting a suite and interviewing at least a half dozen people.
Exactly, but it's a double-edged sword. You don't want to go out and get a big splash hire if he's not the right guy.
Sure.
Right. So well, Doug Marrone was not a big splash.
That's true. He was the right guy.
He sure was the right
Absolutely.
guy. Nico, you're always the right guy, too. Thanks for stopping in for the talk segment here today. We appreciate that. We continue in a moment. Switching.